December 3rd, 2019. Howie's terrific follow-up letter to Senator Burr's office. Josh, we really appreciate your having made time for us when Carole and I came to Washington mid-October. Your history with the bill from your time with Representative Walter Jones made our visit so much easier. We particularly appreciated your advice about helping you make a case for the nexus to North Carolina. When I mentioned the support of law enforcement, particularly the National Sheriff's Association, copy is attached, you asked about obtaining support from a law enforcement officer in North Carolina. It took a while to obtain in writing due to his understandably busy schedule, but attached is a letter of support for the bill from Chief Chafin of the Fair Bluff Police Department. He is particularly relevant because the state's second big cat sanctuary is currently under construction in his jurisdiction and has been welcomed there. Also attached is the letter of support from one of the largest and best accredited sanctuaries in the country, Carolina Tiger Rescue in Pittsboro, which I left with you during our visit. Upon reflecting on our conversation, I had another thought. If I were to ask you, or Senator Burr, if you think any citizen of North Carolina would want to see the tiger and other big cat species go extinct in the wild, I would guess your answer would be they would not. No American wants to see that. As we discussed, and the attached memo documents with an email from the State Department, the untracked private breeding in this country is problematic for our efforts to get other nations to align with us to combat efforts by the Chinese to legalize the currently illegal trade in tiger parts. Legalizing that trade would be the end of tigers in the wild, because it would create a much greater incentive for poachers. So this bill touches the interest of every North Carolina citizen in that way. The current situation also creates an unfunded mandate in two ways. First, it creates a serious one on local law enforcement when these animals escape from private owners or are confiscated. Sheriff Lutz of Zanesville talks about this in the attached video after the release of 56 dangerous animals, including 38 big cats, put his officers in a position of having to shoot most of the animals. Second, it creates an unfunded mandate on sanctuaries. They have to bear the burden of lifetime care for these animals rescued or confiscated from private owners. Last, but presumably not least, our system tracks how many of our supporters who are citizens of North Carolina have contacted Senator Burr's office. Over 200 constituents have contacted the office urging support of the bill. Many of these called or emailed before the bill was introduced in the Senate, so I am not sure without a bill number whether your tracking system in your office would have captured them for you. So I thought it might be helpful for you to see the list, which is attached. You may be aware that Senator Collins of Maine has become the first Republican co-sponsor. This legislation clearly is not and should not be a partisan issue. It is bipartisan in the House, with 218 co-sponsors, and having had a successful hearing and markup. Our effort in the Senate began with the introduction in September, and it would be wonderful if we could announce to our supporters in North Carolina that Senator Burr had heard from them and joined Senator Collins as a co-sponsor. After you have had a chance to peek at the attachments, would it be possible to reconnect briefly by phone to advise me if this helps you make your case for the bill, or if not, what else I can do to help? Thanks very much, Howard Baskin. Love that guy. If you're enjoying my diary, please like, share, and subscribe. You can find other ways to connect to me over at bigcatrescue.org/Carole.Baskin.